Lawmakers voting on a key rule before they ultimately begin to vote on the debt ceiling deal. NewsNation's Joe Khalil joins us live. Joe, what is the latest on this?
So we talked about how this was a procedural step that this debt limit bill needed to get across in order for it to ultimately be voted on later tonight. It just now cleared that hurdle, not without a little bit of drama. Typically, Nichole, how these things go, no matter how people are going to vote on these bills later on tonight, is this is called the rule. So if it's a Republican bill and it's semi-controversial, Republicans vote for it, Democrats would vote against it. It moves forward, it clears this hurdle, and then later on you get the vote that really, really matters. Well, just this time, the vote that we saw, you had 29 Republicans voting against it, which in many ways is a very strong and unorthodox statement against their own party and, again, against the bill. We know there are a lot of Republicans who've talked about their own reservations. So for a while, there was a bit of drama because we had 29 Republicans not voting for it, and the bill ultimately was a few dozen short. Well, at the end of the day, more than 40 Democrats came through in really what is a show of bipartisanship in this sense, very small sense, but they came through and made up the difference. So now you have a bill that passed the final total 241 to 187. So it ultimately cleared with well enough support. Again, the vote that we're really watching now tonight, Nichole, is going to be around 8 or 9 o'clock. We'll hopefully get an answer not too late, depending on how things go today. And again, we're watching the dynamics of just how many Republicans are going to vote against this bill. We know there are going to be some. We know there are some Democrats who are going to vote against it. I've been speaking to dozens of lawmakers today, all day on both sides of the aisle. Many have said it's going to be a bitter pill to swallow. There are certainly things in this bill that both sides can look at as wins, but also objections that both sides have had. We spoke to some Democrats who said these work requirements are really going to be a drag for them. They understand the consequences if this bill doesn't pass. And we've heard for days now objections from the Freedom Caucus, the most conservative Republicans, and some more moderates who say that the cuts, the savings that we get nearly are not enough, not what they expected, not what they wanted. So we're going to see later on tonight how much support is in it. We expect it's going to pass. Party leaders think it's going to pass, but we won't actually know until we actually start to see the counts. Nichole.
All right, so Joe, before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit more about the Freedom Caucus. Some members of the House on the Republican side, the more conservative members of that Freedom Caucus, saying that they do not agree with this. They do plan to vote no. Talk about potential consequences for House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Well, you may remember, because I remember very well, it doesn't seem like long ago, Nichole, that in January, we were sitting here, you and I doing these live shots, vote after vote after vote. It took Speaker McCarthy 15 different rounds of voting to get the gavel. Well, in order to get that gavel, he needed to make some promises to his members. One of those, that big concessions he made, was that it's only going to take one person on the Republican side, that's it, to trigger a vote to remove him from Speaker if they're not happy with him. Well, if this bill today doesn't have adequate support, what I'm hearing from Freedom Caucus members, and it's not just me, they're being very loud about this, is they're going to keep that option open. After this process is all over, we've asked many of them, including Congressman Ralph Norman, on this show this morning about whether that would be something that's possible. He said, you know, he's keeping his powder dry, in a sense, that we're going to see what Kevin McCarthy's future is like once this process is all over. So, you know, it is a serious fear. I think Speaker McCarthy has sounded confident, like he doesn't feel like he has any risks to his speakership. But that's not a guarantee. And even if, you know, there's not 218 votes in the House to remove him, just the act of having that vote at all certainly could be a stain on his legacy, could undermine his leadership and his standing with his own members. So I think Speaker McCarthy, even though he's projecting a sense of confidence, in the back of his mind, he's got to seriously worry that any one of these members might trigger that vote, Nichole.
Absolutely. All right. Joe Khalil giving us some expertise there out of the Capitol. Joe, thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.